That's something I kind of tried to teach JJ is so he really wanted to come yesterday he was like legit, like not happy that we were still over at Sadia's. And so
I'm sure he didn't let it be known.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. But even Sadia went to go get him and I'm like, bud, it's just, sometimes that happens and it is what it is. You just gotta, I go, Elliot's, you guys don't go to school Monday, so Elliot's always welcome to come to the house tomorrow. He goes, I know, I just wanted to show him stuff. I'm like, hey.
That's tough. You get a rigid mindset. You know what you want. You got a plan in your head, and it falls through. We all know what that feels.
That's not going to change in life.
No.
As you get older, you're still
married. Let me tell you how many things are going to fall through for you. No,
yeah, you got to learn to. You got to learn to be like water and flow with when this shit.
This is no joke.
Welcome back to Just Willy Blended. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Tom.
Sometimes when our thing goes, like the bop, the music's intro, I'm like, I just want to start fucking rapping. I can't rap, but
I can't either.
I'm like, I'm about to go in, and then nothing would come out.
I'd be like Dr. Seuss
in the booth.
Boat, shoat, goat.
He's gonna do a truce.
I can rhyme. That's about it. Sound like you were gonna yawn there in the beginning.
No, I go. Maybe I don't know. Energetic Sunday morning,
ready to go, full of energy.
Yeah, no,
and juice.
Yeah, we went to. So yesterday was Sadia. Happy birthday to my stepdaughter. She turned 22 on the 6th, so she had thrown herself like a little birthday party at her house with her and her fiance. And so we went over there to Yakima yesterday. And for those of you who don't know, Yakima is probably about an hour from the Tri-Cities.
Yep.
Maybe a little further from where we're at. I think maybe an hour, 10 minutes, something like that. Nothing too crazy. So we went there.
Easy day trip.
Yeah. And so, me and Alicia did the gym thing, and then we got things ready here, and then we took off. I don't even remember what time it was. I think we got there about 2:30. And so it was fun. It was a good time. So yeah, it was nice to see her in her little element with her house. And
yeah.
They're
pretty settled now.
Yeah, Christmas is pretty. People are starting to decorate for Christmas now.
I got a problem with that, but
Alicia does too, right?
I really do.
Alicia's the same way, but Sadia, her house is already decorated for Christmas. They already got a tree up.
Oh boy.
Yeah. They're already ready.
Not a live one, I hope.
No, right?
Walmart.
Can you imagine?
That's gonna be hard to keep alive for 2 months.
One time I had a tree, and for whatever reason we were slow to take the tree. We took everything off the tree, right? It was bare bones, but we left it, and I kept watering it.
Yeah.
That bitch stayed alive up until mid-January, and then I was like, I need to get the fuck out of this tree. I don't know why I still have it.
Do you think it would have stayed alive if you kept watering it?
I don't know, maybe. I just wonder if they'll ever root again. Wonder if you can ever,
I don't know.
Can you imagine if you can regrow your fucking Christmas tree every year?
That'd be wild.
That'd
Just
be kind of
plant
cool,
it in the yard, cut it back down.
Man, you're getting bigger and bigger every year, guy.
Yeah, I love you, little buddy.
I know. I feel sad burning it.
Yeah,
dude,
right?
Christmas trees go up fast. Mm-hmm. I put it in my fire pit one year.
Yep. They've got the oils in them, and those things ignite.
It'll burn like that.
Yep.
No, it was fun. It was cool. It was a cool little party.
Very nice.
So when we were there, I was like, because I'm not drinking for the rest of the year, I drank at my party, and then I had a couple drinks afterwards, and then I was like, okay, I'm let me not drink for the rest of the year. Is my goal, right? Just to see.
Sure.
Just to see if I can, which I can because I'm stubborn. So
there you go.
I feel like being stubborn is kind of a good thing because then I'm in my head, I'm like, no, you better not.
Yeah.
You're gonna do it. You're having that conversation.
Yourself, you're firm on yourself. Yeah.
So yesterday was kind of a challenge just because there's drinking going on or whatever. But so I was asked her fiance, his name's Leo. I was like, hey man, you got any soda or anything? He's like, oh no man, I'm sorry. We just got water.
Here's wine.
No, he didn't even say that. He goes, I got some water and stuff. I'm like, oh no, that's cool. He goes, you know, he starts like why they didn't get soda. I'm like, hey, it's cool, man. It's no worries.
Aren't you a soda delivery guy?
He is actually. He works for Pepsi.
Nice,
and so
yeah.
me and Alicia went to Costco over in Yakima. And if you haven't been to Costco in Yakima, I think the parking's like much bigger.
Really?
I feel like the store's maybe a little either smaller or bigger. I can't figure it out yet.
Huh. There's just something different.
There's something different. The layout's way different.
Yeah, which is wrong. Why?
Like it's
why
the same.
Change the layout of a store? Just universalize it.
So like this, it's kind of the same, but
Is it flip flop? Does it reverse?
No,
a lot of times that's the way they'll do it. Is just like flip one side to the other.
No, that's how the Winco in Richland is. It's different than the
to go there.
But like one thing is, it's like, you know, it's kind of the same, but then you get to where the drinks are, because I'm like, okay, I'm going to get me some soda. I'm going to get a case of soda for the party, because we were going to get some like other stuff for the party just to, you know, have more food and stuff. And so I'm in there, and usually in the Kennewick, it's beer and soda's kind of right there. Not this one. This was like beer and, you know, liquor was in one spot.
Yeah.
And then soda's way on the other side by like the juice, which actually kind of makes sense to me. Honestly.
I think that's how our Kennewick Costco is, right?
No, there's be juice and like energy drinks on this side, and then it's like sodas are with kind of the liquor. It's kind of weird because and the juice is over that. Whatever. But yeah. Anyway, I was like, oh, because I like the glass Cokes.
Yeah.
But I'm like, babe, what should we get? And she's like, I don't know. I don't care. I was like, do you think he'll get in trouble? Because he's a Pepsi delivery guy, man. What if I show up with some Coke?
Yeah, is PepsiCo going to assassinate him if he's got
Is he
Coke
going to
in
get
his house?
fired? Be like, that's a conflict of interest. Sorry. He has cameras in his house.
We hear that you got Coke in your house.
They come. The Pepsi Coalition shows up at his door.
Sunglasses and badges and look like the FBI.
Yeah, we're with the PBI.
We believe that there's Coke in your home. We found 30 bottles of Coke. They have it all stacked up.
You didn't find that 8-ball of Coke?
Yeah. Oh, thank God. Whew. Coke. I don't have any Coke. Oh.
Yeah. But when I was in there, you know how they have the samples of food?
Yeah.
And so, you know, me and Elise are kind of hungry, and I was like, oh, hell yeah, they got food here. She's like, no, they don't. I'm like, yeah, right here. So I tried one, and there was some pot pie.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, this is pretty good. Mm-hmm. For some reason, Costco food's always kind of good.
Costco food is good.
Right?
Yeah.
I had some plantain like stuff. It was real mushy looking. Doesn't look the most appeasing, you know, appealing.
Delicious.
I thought it was good. It looks like it has that consistency of like cream of wheat.
Okay.
Very
kind of
gritty, like grits.
Yeah.
Almost.
Okay.
But
because a plantain looks kind of like a banana.
It's just
I've never had one,
it's just
so I don't know.
It's good.
Yeah.
If you're into that.
Does it taste like banana?
Not really. No, it has it's between a banana and a potato flavor. I don't know how to explain it.
Earthy,
especially when you like fry them. Okay. Fried plantain's really good.
Okay.
It's like real crunchy. It's kind of weird. But I was like eating it, and to me and Alicia, I was like, "Oh, this is good." I go, and then I go, but there's a lot of. It tastes too much like pot, you know. Because it's all pot pie. I was trying to be funny, right?
Oh, I see.
As I say that, this girl's walking by. She's like, pot? Where? Where's that at?
Only in fucking Yakima.
I start laughing. I'm like, no, I was just kidding. I'm saying the pot pie.
Was she serious?
Oh, she was dead serious. She was like, where's that food at?
Oh, shit, man.
I want some of that stuff. Alicia starts laughing.
Give it a year or two. It'll be there.
Alicia starts laughing. She's like, you're so stupid. Why'd you say that so loud?
That's hysterical. No, like, the real question is, why was she so fucking excited?
She was excited. She goes, man, pot's good, though. Bro, she looked like she was on some pot.
I got to admit, that's a smell that I don't particularly like. And I have a buddy that loves pot, and he loves the smell of it. So,
are you talking about me?
Well, no, but I mean, that's probably
he doesn't want to say it, but
I have another buddy who I just have a memory of being around him when he was gonna smoke somebody. I was like
you can get some.
Very excited.
You can get like a bag of weed that smells. You know, you get some that smells really good. It has like a good smell, I guess. And then some of it's like, they got dirt weed doesn't really smell.
I just think if you don't do it a lot, it's
I will say I prefer the smell of weed over cigarettes.
Yeah, cigarettes.
So like the smell of like smoke and cigarettes, I can't. I don't like that. It gives me a headache. But like weed smoke, I don't mind it.
Gotcha.
I don't have a.
See, and I prefer tobacco smoke to that, not cigarette smoke.
Yeah, no. Like a cherry tobacco, like your pipe.
I like the.
Have you used that thing?
I have a couple times. It's very flavorful. Yeah, and it doesn't seem to stink as bad after. Like I love the smell of fresh cigars. I do not like the stale cigar smell.
No,
I just wish that would go away. But
that's my issue with cigars.
We were at someone else's house. I won't mention who, but we were going to say hi on, I think it was Halloween.
Oh yeah.
And it was so pungent. I had to stay like 10 feet away from the house.
I walked in because I'm used to it.
The kids were like, "Oh yeah, you were there. You were there." That was beyond what I could handle. It was so just olfactory over.
As soon as that door opened, you got that whiff.
I mean, and it's weird because it doesn't smell like whereas tobacco, when it's not fresh anymore, it definitely changes.
Yeah.
And it's got kind of that nasty scent. It doesn't seem like marijuana smell changes a whole lot.
No, it doesn't. It's kind of there.
But it's very pungent.
It is.
I mean, it does not go away quickly.
It is. My son, I remember, walked in. He was like, "Oh my God, it smells in here."
Yeah, gotta love JJ.
He's honest, not gonna. Yeah, he
honest shit. Your house smells like crap, right?
Yeah. My son will tell him. He's like, "Oh, it smells in here.
Something's going on in here."
But you know what's crazy? So when I was younger, I didn't, obviously when I was growing up and I was, maybe JJ's age, maybe a little younger, somewhere around there. I didn't know what weed was.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I didn't know what it smelled like.
All I knew is what I learned in Dare, which is that you will go insane and horrible, horrible things will happen.
This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs.
This is your brain on marijuana.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. When I used to smoke and stuff, because I haven't smoked in a while. Okay. It's been, I don't know, a few months and stuff. Like I quit doing all that just because I'm, trying to change, my lifestyle, whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, see, that's your brain on drugs. I just forgot what the fuck I was going to say.
But you quit. But
I quit. But that's it.
Don't worry, it's going to get better.
That's the point.
Yeah.
But no, so when I was younger, now I'm going back to where I was. See, this is what happens when you use drugs, kids.
Yeah.
You forget
or
shit.
turn like 40. There's that
Both
too.
don't help. But I remember going through it was in my mom's house, obviously. But I was going through her drawers and her and my stepdad at the time.
That could be very dangerous.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping.
Put those toys away.
I'm hoping you only found drugs.
No, I did. It was my first time finding a pipe, but it was a tobacco pipe.
Oh, really?
Right?
Okay.
It was in it was like this, they used to have this like, it was like a tiny little dresser that had like 3 little drawers, but it was made out of like cardboard or something, if I remember. Kind of like those little plastic ones you can get at Walmart. That
I know exactly. My cousin had one of those.
But yeah, it was like a steady, like a hardy cardboard.
Oh
almost.
yeah.
But so I'm going through. I don't know what the fuck I was looking for. Being a nosy ass kid, probably presents and shit. I was pretty good at doing that. But I opened this drawer up and I was like, I found this pipe and it's a tobacco pipe, and then it had foil over where you put the tobacco, and then had holes in there. And I remember smelling it. And it's to me, that was my first experience smelling what I think weed was.
Gotcha.
Was that day. And I think it was my stepdad's. And yeah, I was just like,
well, at least it was marijuana and not something else.
No, later on we found I think when we were moving or doing something, we found, I don't know if my mom knows this, but I found like a needle.
Ooh, God.
I don't know whose needle that was.
Whew.
I don't know,
Yikes.
but it was like it was a syringe of some type. So
maybe somebody had diabetes.
The diabetes, I don't know. But yeah, that was.
So yeah, I wonder back in the old days when we were youngsters, did because now I think of a pipe and they've gotten very like intricate, right? Like the glass smoke pipes and stuff like that.
Yeah, you got the.
And people have the bongs and stuff. I wonder, like, I think of when I was 18 and my buddy first started smoking weed, I always saw like those ceramic looking pipes that were specifically for marijuana, right?
Ceramic one?
Yeah, they're little and they looked like clay.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like,
I never smoked out of one of those.
that's what I always thought of as kind of like the epitome of like a marijuana pipe. But I'm wondering, like the old days, were there specific pipes or did people just buy tobacco pipes and use them?
I think it was probably that. I bet you there was specific pipes back in the day. Like for me, when I started on my journey of smoking the weeds, I think the first thing I smoked out of was this makeshift pipe that my at the time girlfriend made. Like, so she got I think it was like a pen or something, and she wrapped foil around the pen to create like a tunnel.
Funnel,
Yeah.
Or
And then
whatever, tunnel.
and then did something, whatever. She fucking origami to fucking pipe out of foil and this.
Can I tell you something about
It was impressive.
potheads? Potheads and
Well,
inmates
we're
are amazing in their ingenuity when they need something. Like they can MacGyver anything.
So you could get a can, a soda can. I've smoked out of a soda can. You can smoke out of pretty much anything. I got nipples, Greg. Can you smoke me?
That's I was just thinking about that.
But I used to use these metal pipes, and they would you could unscrew everything.
Wouldn't that like burn you? Like doesn't get hot?
It does, but you only lighten it for moments at a time, so it doesn't
Sure,
get too
right.
hot. But it can get hot.
Right.
Like fuck.
Yeah.
I just burned my fingies. Not my fingies.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was my first experience with that. But I thought it was funny, the Costco lady. And then today I'm talking to Alicia, and I'm just at the gym, and I'm my shirt is just soaked in sweat.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it doesn't matter how many times I can go to the fucking gym, I'm gonna sweat like a fucking pig.
Me too.
I can be the most in shape
Dude,
guy on earth.
the last time I went, I sweat so bad it was dripping down my front like I pissed myself.
Oh, dude, for
I'm
real.
not kidding. Like it legitimately looked like I peed my pants.
I'm not the most clean shaven looking guy. I got some hair on me, I got a hairy chest and stuff. And
Sure.
today my shirt was stuck to me.
Ugh.
And Alicia's kind of walking with me, maybe a little in front of me, and I'm like, God damn, it's sticky. Yeah. And then some lady, as I say that's walking by, she goes, "It is sticky in here." I'm like,
What the fuck?
I go, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, "I wasn't even fucking talking about you, girl.
Yeah.
I wasn't even talking about sticky. It don't feel sticky in here.
It's so sticky. Everything's
Sticky, icky.
Like what's sticky? What?
Gross.
Girl, come on. Yeah.
They keep that gym pretty clean. I don't know what you're talking
really
about.
do. They really do. We wipe everything down after we use it.
And then I'm guessing they do some janitorial crap,
Yeah,
but I don't know.
that's crazy. That's what is crazy. I don't know. What?
What?
That's the sticky stuff.
But how's your weekend been?
Oh, I know. I was going to talk about my shirts. The thing that drives good. It's been a good weekend. I did
Okay.
not exercise yet this weekend. Supposed to this morning, but whatever. We
Well,
won't
no,
talk
I
about that.
understand why though.
But one thing I've noticed about going to the gym with my shirts drive me nuts because my torso's long enough that my shirts look, I think, just fine, just great when I'm not reaching my arms up. But I
So funny you
reach
say that.
and my little tum-tum hangs out
Yeah.
underneath the shirt. And I'm like, I need some fucking long shirts. This is driving me nuts.
No, I have a shirt that's so funny because it was Friday. I think I was working out and I'm doing these
Uh-huh.
lifts with the fucking dumbbells or something.
Yep.
And I look and my shirt keeps lifting up,
Oh, me
and I'm
too.
like,
Or I lay down to start doing something and my shirt just always wants to flip like this.
and
I'm like,
and girls
God.
are terrible. They're they look at us like we're meat,
Yeah.
little things of meat. I
know.
just girl, eyes up here,
Yeah, I know. With your little
looking at my hairy belly
Some
button.
gals doing the full splits. Like,
She was there today.
Jesus Christ. There are some people that
She
just
does the
really...
split so much, and then she can lick her back. I go, well, what the fuck?
Well, I haven't seen that one yet, but
No, but
oh, he's like, all right, do your toe touch. And then some girls have their legs behind their heads.
Yeah.
You're like, that's not what he said.
yeah, no,
Stop showing off.
Oh, toe
But-
touches? You mean backward toe
Oh,
touches?
do the straight back toe touch. I'm like, well, I can touch my knees, but that's not as far as I'm gonna go.
I will
with the
say,
straight back.
I can touch my toes now.
Yeah,
I noticed
I've gotten
I noticed that
closer.
about a week ago, and
Yeah.
I was like, the most excited thing about it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, babe, I can touch my toes.
Man, I got a tendon in my heel. This is going to be super exciting. Man, it hurts. I got to figure out why it's tight.
It's just stretching, dude. My calf, that's how my calf is. My calf gets super,
So
like,
weird.
it's been getting super tight for the last, like, month or two. So,
Yeah.
and so I, like, every other day or so, I'm, like, fucking using the little massage gun. I'm putting, I smell like an old man because I put fucking so much Bengay on that shit. Alicia made that joke. I don't know if I talked about that last time, where she was like, She made a joke because she's like, damn, you smell like an old man. And then we get to the gym and the old man goes, who got Bengay on? I can smell that. I was like, fuck.
Damn it.
And I was like, me goes, I love that smell. And Alicia looks at me and just laughs.
Nothing like a smell of Bengay in the morning, am I right?
Yeah. Oh. But I have to put that shit on every day, even this morning.
I've never used Bengay.
It works good, man.
I refuse to Bengay. I've never been gay in my life.
I know, I remember the stupid jokes. But
just kidding. Yeah.
I don't know. The other day I was talking about, and I think I talked about this on podcast, like, you know, like Alicia needed like a change of pace, and she was just feeling kind of down. And
it was a week ago. I was here. Yeah.
So we kind of brought that up.
But I was here too.
Yeah, I remember that like yesterday. I remember that like a week ago.
Yes.
So like,
do you remember that, Jesse?
Yeah. So I was like, I think it was Monday or something.
Yeah.
Because I had to work Tuesday. I had to work last week in Toppenish. So Tuesday through Friday was my work week, whatever. So Monday I was just like, you know, what can I, I don't like that my wife's feeling this way, right?
Yeah.
Like it, I get it. I've been there. I need her to feel like, I just want her to feel good. And so like, I did something that's kind of out of my norm.
Yeah.
Is I was like, you know what I'm going to do? Because, you see this in the movies and stuff. I got a bunch of like candles. So I went to the store and I got a bunch of candles. And then I was like looking for dried rose petals.
I ordered those from Amazon.
Right?
Yeah,
well, that's why I went to like all these craft stores looking for this shit. And they're like, oh, we got some nylon ones. I'm like, no. Why does your fucking website tell me you got these? Huh? She was like, they're right here. I'm like, she showed me the picture. I'm like, yeah, right here. I didn't yell at him. I'm not like that. But in my head, I'm just like, God damn it.
So you're looking for like legitimate dried rose
Yeah, there's
petals?
dried rose petals you can buy that you can put in the bath. So my goal is to like, I'm going to make my wife a bath. I'm going to run like a nice bubble bath for her. So that's what I did. So that night I ran, I couldn't find them. So I found I just went to the store and bought roses, actual roses.
All right.
And then I ran her like a bubble bath just in time before she got home. And then I like lit all the candles. I almost lit my fucking hand on fire a few times. That shit was out because I had all the candles around. And then I threw the like fucking rose petal. I just ripped the rose off, throwing the petals in there and shit. And then I put up because she likes to watch her little murder shows like Dateline and shit. So I did the iPad and I was like, hey babe, I know. She got home. She was like, where were you? I was like, oh no, I was just in the bathroom, just whatever. And she's like taking her time. And I'm like, hey, come here real quick. And she's walking in the room and it's like she can see the glow in the bathroom. I'm like, I know you've been having a rough time. I know things have been hard. And like, I just, hey, I ran you a bath. Just get in there. Just relax. Don't worry about, like, if you need dinner, just let me know what you want. She'll know I'm good. I was like, well, just relax, man. I got you. Show up. Here's your, just take it easy. And I think doing that, like, I don't know, something about that, like, kind of changed her attitude. I felt good.
Nice.
But that's something I've never done, running the bath with rose petals.
Yeah.
Got to relax. Some
lavender scents. And
Yeah. No, I put, like, Epsom salt and those kind of things in there to kind of just, like, she's her body's been sore and stuff. So I'm like, all right, here you go. Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes it's nice to do those things. Sure. I don't know what came over me. I was just like, I don't like that feeling. I want her to be, I don't know.
Yeah.
Get out of that funk. I was trying to get her out of that funk.
Sure.
I think it helped, or she just, being closed up and just she's like, no, Mom, I'm good.
No. I mean, I think you can tell. You can tell with spouses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want to bring that because sometimes, fellas, if your wife's feeling some type of way, sometimes you got to go out of your comfort zone to kind of make them feel good. Mm-hmm. you know, you don't always know what to do, and I didn't know what to do. I had to fucking Google what that looked like.
Yeah.
You know, I just know from my head from what the movies look like, so I had to Google
Right.
like pictures and shit. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I did something similar a couple years
Yeah.
ago. We did it was back when the little house was empty. Nobody was staying there. And so I ordered tea, just the turn on tea lights.
Oh yeah.
They're not real, you know.
Yeah.
But they glow and flicker and shit.
Looks cool.
And then I just went with the fake rose petals and threw those around. And then we just sat out there and watched TV.
Well, that's cool though.
That's what she wanted to do anyway, but it was, you know, at least something a little different.
Well, no,
So that was
sometimes you got to do
kind
that.
of fun, kind of different. Yeah, she's always home, and I'm not a
Yeah.
lot.
See,
So
for me, it's like I had
it's
that
harder to
opportunity.
surprise her, but
Surprise.
you know, like I can't just stand there naked when she comes through the door, like, you know, probably wouldn't do that anyway. Yeah,
That'd be hilarious. Huh?
but yeah, I need to probably like have coffee delivered to her or something.
Yeah.
soon.
I've done that.
Yeah.
I did that the other day. I couldn't like tear away. She's like, "Hey, do you want to bring me coffee?" Because sometimes I'll bring her coffee, or I'll bring her and her friend Natalia some coffee. She calls me, "You're good work husband." Natalia. Well, thank you.
That's funny.
But so like I got them some coffee delivered, and that shit. Like I did the delivery because I was in a meeting,
Yeah.
and so I'm like, "Oh, here I'll just do a fucking what is it, Uber Eats or whatever the fuck it is, DoorDash or something." And I swear to God, within 10 minutes, maybe less, Alicia, "Oh, thanks for the coffee." I'm like, "That already
wow.
got you?" I go, "That was fucking quick."
Dang.
Like I know her work's not far from Starbucks, but that was crazy.
See,
I was
Blanca-
impressed. How
Blanca
quick
likes,
that.
she doesn't like Starbucks. She
No, she
likes
likes the-
other ones.
She likes that one that's right there by Yolks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, she does. The whatever. I don't even know the name of that
Mocha
place. but-
Express, I think.
Okay. That could
Mocha
be.
chocolate.
I don't remember. I don't go to coffee shops myself. So unless it's Starbucks, I don't know the name of them. But
I just
they
go 'cause
change all the time. Have you noticed that? Coffee shops go in and out all the time.
Yeah, because I used to go to this one that I kind of liked, and I think Blanca had told me about it. She had told us about it. It was by the Texaco, right there off of Columbia Drive,
Oh, yeah.
or
It's,
right by Hubby's Pizza.
Yep.
It's not a coffee shop no more, but they had some good coffee. but
Yeah,
they didn't-
I don't think it's that easy to get a shop up and running. Like,
No.
I think you go out of business. It's a lot of work for a little payoff.
That's what it sounded like.
And then, and once you make it, I think you make it. But no, I've noticed like
I'm gonna do a Mel
Dutch
Lingerie
Bros.
fucking
Oh,
coffee.
God, those things. Yeah, there's that one that I think that
Little Beans or something like that.
I don't know what the hell. Little beans. It's all guys with micro weenies.
Little Bows.
Yeah, they have that one. Do they still have that one where the girls dress in lingerie?
They have one in Yakima.
So uncomfortable. I've never gone there. Never would. I just like, what a creepy thing.
I know.
go
I know
and,
we've
like,
talked about this, right? Because I was just talking to Alicia about this the other day because we went to Yakima for something, and when we go to visit her sister that lives in Yakima, because we picked up Eli too yesterday, we always drive by this one coffee joint that's one of those, right? And then as you drive by, you're like, I don't want to look, and you're like looking, see titties hanging out the
Well, I
window.
mean, if you see something like that, you're gonna look.
Of course,
Like it's your.
it's just a
nature.
curiosity thing.
human
It's not
nature.
like a.
Well, I think there's
Ooh,
something just like men, women, whoever.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're gonna look at something that is designed for your brain to want to see. I mean, there's no way to not.
I'm telling you, if someone opened up a guy one, like, you know,
Oh, it would sell out.
Oh,
Women are
guys
way
with, like,
grosser than.
oh, dude, they'll be like shirtless with their like fucking, you know, ripped abs or something. But it's gonna be a dad bod one.
Well, see, that's the thing about like locally.
Hairy stomachs hanging out.
Locally, it's going to be a lot of farmer-looking guys, beer bellies and stretch marks. It's me.
Can you imagine? No one's going to that fucking place. Like, belly button lint in my coffee.
Oh,
so
God.
good. But no, like I was just telling Lisa that though. It's like, you know, I don't care how good. If they told me that's the best coffee ever, and like a legit, like I'm going there because the coffee is great, I wouldn't go there because it just feels
Awkward.
Maybe it's me.
Who's gonna believe that you're going there for the coffee?
No one.
No one's gonna believe you're
No
going
one.
there for the coffee. The
No,
big thing is the lingerie.
Who believes guys when they say I'm just reading this Playboy for the articles?
Yeah,
No one.
Which they have great articles. Come on,
Dude, some of the
is
writing-
Playboy even a thing anymore? I don't even know if it's actually around. Maybe it's just digital now.
Yeah, everything's digital. It's easier.
Yeah.
I remember I had a Playboy that it wasn't mine. It was like a friend's or someone, and I borrowed it. And I would read. I was legit reading the articles.
Sure.
When I would take a shit. Yeah. And then my mom found it, and I did the same. Yes, the articles. Page 12 and 13 are stuck together. I don't know why.
There's a riveting story on the economy. I swear to God.
I know. But it legit did have a couple articles that were like pretty
interesting.
Like, it was good writing, surprisingly.
How to give a good blowjob. Yeah. That's Cosmo, I think.
That's Cosmo. These ones were actually like not as sexual as you would think.
That's good.
Yeah. Like it talk about like music or
I
stuff
think
like
I
that.
saw one or two Playboys. I think my brother had a Playboy at one time. And I did notice that there was an actual decent amount of non-sexual content in there.
Yeah.
And then of course you had your centerfold pictures that weren't that way, but I mean it's very
She's showing them meat.
it's
that was
very
meat
tasteful.
wallet. Showing
very
a meat wallet.
tasteful.
As Theo would say.
Her meat wallet. Is
He
that
calls
her
it- yeah.
vagina?
Yeah.
That makes sense, I guess.
It's so funny. Well, you were just telling, kind of switching gears.
Yeah, let's
Thomas,
get off of that topic. And
switching gears from meat wallets to movies.
let's talk about family. Because, what does vagina lead to? Family.
It does.
So, quite
I
literally.
mean, it does.
I was watching last night a movie that I had never heard of before, so I don't know if it just came out on Netflix or what the deal was, but it's called Little Evil. And Adam Scott is the main character in the story, and he's this new stepdad to this kid. And it's like they call it a horror comedy, but it's really just funny. Like it's really just pretty much comedy. But the humorous part to it that Blanc and I kept laughing about was like this kid ends up being the Antichrist, and that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
I'm not giving anything away by saying that in this show. There's like blatant things that this kid's creepy and weird. And as he's explaining to people, trying to be sensitive and trying to be this like good stepdad, everyone's acting like it's totally normal. Like, oh yeah, I've been there. He's like, his head's spun around all night. And he's like, oh yeah, we all know what that's like. Just funny. That's not a legit line, but it's just
It's like
things
somewhere
like that
cool,
where everyone's acting like just raising children is the worst thing in the world, and that's totally normal. So the movie was very, very funny. But it was really interesting because there was a sweet side to it of him actually bonding with this kid.
Yeah.
And all that. And it was really kind of interesting to watch him in that role of being this guy trying to reach out, trying to do things to build a relationship with the kid.
Yeah,
and
which
that
is
kind of awkward phase of like,
which is it's hard in like legit in real life as a step parent sometimes, even as a parent.
Sure.
Trying to, when your kids hit certain ages where you're trying to build that
yeah, it's a lot of work on the upfront. I've always felt that if you give a lot when they're little, like when it comes to like discipline, when it comes to showing love and building that relationship, that will carry on. But yeah, teenagers are always going to be weird. They're always going to pull away a little bit and stuff like
I know.
that.
One of the coaches, he's having his first baby. He just announced. So shout out Adrian. He's having a girl
Congratulations.
on March 8th.
So he knows the gender and everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And so we were like, yeah. At least he's like teenage years. And he's like, and I go, you don't got to worry about it. You're a dad. I was like, the mom's got to worry about that because that's when the moms and the daughters usually tend to.
Yeah, if you have girls, that ends up being a rough one for the mom, typically.
It is. I don't know. They just bump heads.
Boys and dads can, depending on the boy.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably more in like macho families.
Yeah, boy.
Very
I told you
masculine.
50 push-ups.
When a dad actually feels intimidated by the strength of his son. Well, this boy thinks he's got some muscle on him. I can still beat your ass, boy.
Yeah, I would be more like my issue would be like a respect thing. That's always been my issue.
Yeah.
Is like if I feel like something's
Disrespectful.
if they're being disrespectful or if there's a level of respect that obviously as a parent you would like from your
Yeah.
kids. But also, you need to, give respect to get respect, right?
But there is also like,
But you're a parent, so your kids, there should be respect there.
yeah. I mean,
in general,
with
in
Elliot,
my old
Elliot's
days.
a pretty good kid, but Elliot will sometimes show some disrespect.
Yeah.
Or, even just like making a little joke or something. And I've always come down very hard on that.
Yeah, same.
Like, not even a question. Like, he knows he pissed me off, and I'm not going to put up with that.
Yeah.
And because usually I'm friendly with him and loving and, all that. Hopefully that carries on to when he's a teenager where he knows like, oh, because I think there's a point in a kid's brain where like they only know you from the experience of their relationship with you their entire life. So if they know from a very tiny age, like dad does not put up with this, you build that line. Theoretically, those lines hold over time. Because my dad, I will always view my dad in a certain light or a certain way, even though I'm a full-grown adult and know him differently today. There's still that element. You're raised with that. There are boundaries and there are things.
No, you're right, because like with my mom, even now, I'm 44 years old, and there's still like a line that
you don't cross.
No, I try not to. Like as I've gotten older, I've gotten more comfortable being able to talk a certain type of way. But for a long time, I would kind of watch my P's and Q's, how I said things, or I'd just keep my mouth shut if I felt like she upset me.
I don't think it ever feels good to disappoint your parents either, whether you agree with them or don't.
Yeah. And I think just sometimes, like my brother is kind of the opposite of me. My brother always had he's always been able, he spoke his mind. If he felt my mom was in the wrong or whatever,
hard-headed.
My brother would always say something. Me, on the other hand, I was like your typical like older kid. I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll do it, whatever. And I think that's the attitude I've always had my whole life now.
Just
like,
keep it calm, keep it peaceful.
It is what it is, and that's something I kind of tried to teach JJ is so he really wanted to come yesterday he was like legit, like not happy that we were still over at Sadia's. And so
I'm sure he didn't let it be known.
Oh yeah, right. But even Sadia went to go get him, and I'm like, bud, it's just sometimes that happens, and it is what it is. You just gotta. I go, Elliot's. You guys don't go to school Monday, so Elliot's always welcome to come to the house tomorrow. Like he goes, I know, I just wanted to show him stuff. I'm like, hey.
That's tough. You get a rigid mindset. You know what you want. You got a plan in your head, and it falls through. We all know what that feels.
That's not going to change in life.
No.
As you get older, you're still
married. Let me tell you how many things are going to fall through for you. No,
yeah, you got to learn to. You got to learn to be like water and flow with when this shit.
This is no joke. The Chinese have had that philosophy for centuries.
Well, that's how I try to with work, with whatever, like stuff's not going to go according to plan. So I always say don't expect things, right? Like, and that sounds fucked up, but it's like, sometimes I just do it because if I expect something to go a certain way, I'm setting myself up from disappointment. And it's going to for me anyway, it just gets me in a bad mood or a bad mindset. And so it's like, I get upset. And so my life, I've always okay, don't expect anything. I don't expect good things to happen sometimes.
Sure.
And that's not, I don't mean that I don't expect bad things to happen. I don't have those expectations because if I'm expecting, I'm trying to get a job or something, right? If I'm expecting I'm going to get that job and I don't, I'm just going to be just in the dumps.
You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you just fall apart because it didn't work out.
Yeah. If it doesn't work out, I'm a real firm believer that there's a reason that didn't happen. There was a job I tried to go for. I went to all these interviews. I was the last candidate. They made me take a stupid fucking personality test. I might be bitter for that. And for whatever reason, my personality is just too big for them. So they said no.
I'm too amazing. I'm too awesome. And they didn't hire me because
that's all I'm going
really
with.
Crappy.
Because I do not, I'm a very firm believer that that's a stupid way to pick someone. Well, let's see what this test has to say. Oh,
sure.
You're too down the road. You're too finally. That's probably what it is.
I'm too down the road.
I'm too in the middle for everything. I'm not too aggressive, but I'm not too
But isn't that kind of a good thing? I mean,
I don't know if it is.
I think it kind of is.
But I wasn't disappointed. I was disappointed.
So hang on, this is a real thing.
This really happened.
You really did not get a job recently because of
this was just before COVID happened.
Oh, okay. So not like immediate.
no,
like,
no, no.
not like this week.
No. But like just before COVID, I applied for this job for the city for like a supervisor role at the help desk, and I felt like I was highly qualified, which I was. And I went through the whole process. I was the last person they told me, like, we just need you to take this test. It's just a little.
We love you.
It's just a personality test.
Look, we feel that your personality is great, but we need it on paper.
We need AI to tell you.
Yeah.
So like, so it asks these dumbass questions, right?
Yeah.
Like, what'd you do in this scenario? And it's stupid because some of the scenarios they throw out, it's like I wouldn't do any of the options I have available.
Right.
I don't have an other because they don't have that option. It's like I wouldn't do any of that. Like to me, that's not the way I move, right?
Right.
And so that didn't happen. It didn't go through because of whatever. And I was just like, I was obviously disappointed, but I didn't expect anything. As soon as I knew I was going to take that, I was just like, I had the expectations that, oh, great. I already was building myself up that I'm probably not going to get this job because it's not the first time I've had this happen, right? And so, although there was that level of disappointment, which is normal, I didn't have that super level of disappointment where I'm just like, oh, I'm just a loser. I'm just no piece of shit, like blah, 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 which, I already do that.
Okay.
So like I didn't let myself fall further down that.
This is the Jesse Barber self-esteem program.
Yeah. But like I didn't let myself get in that mindset.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, basically, you have to keep reminding yourself you're a piece of shit. It's never going to work out.
But like, it does me no good to like sit there and just dwell on something that I have no control over.
You are correct. You know
what I mean?
Right.
So I took it as okay, I didn't get this job. And then COVID happened and I realized why I didn't get the job.
Yeah.
I just figured, you know what? It wasn't in the books for me. The world or the higher ups or someone out there just knew that if I would have had this job, COVID hit, I would have been one of the first ones laid off.
Ah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
And then now here,
Look
my
at
family's
that.
struggling. So sometimes those blessings that you think should get like today, you don't see that until maybe weeks down the road,
Amen,
months down the
brother.
road. You know what I'm
Amen,
saying?
brother. I do completely understand.
Because sometimes those blessings they'll come, but they might not come right now, but you'll see and you'll be like, oh. And so for me, that was my correlation with it. Like I didn't get this because of this, and look where I'm at now, and I've gained more experience and stuff. So maybe I wasn't ready to even then.
Well, the question of like, even is it divine or is that just the way things work? In a sense of like, there's
Divine.
good and bad to everything, right?
Yeah.
Like any scenario you have, one good is at the expense of something else, right?
Yeah.
In some way. So there's wisdom in looking at the world through that lens of no matter where you're at or what's going on, there's a flip side to everything.
Yeah.
And just keep, finding that flip,
Yeah, and sometimes you just got to set goals. Like my goal has been and still is, I gave myself a year to, change careers.
And that's a good point too, which is a little kind of counter to the point. Like your other point is don't put all your eggs in one basket because you don't want to set yourself up where all you can see is this one possibility and then it all falls through and then your whole life feels like it fell apart.
Yeah.
On the other hand, create your own destiny, right?
For sure.
Like don't let opportunities pass you by because you're afraid or, you've got to put yourself out there to be open to the things that can come.
And that's the thing, like when you do that, I mean, that's scary as it is. Like I'm terrified of changing.
Sure.
Like if I do end up getting a different career, that's terrifying to me because I've known this where I'm at right now. I've known for, I don't know, 8-9 years almost.
Yeah, right.
And so it's like to change that comfort, like I start weighing those options like, oh, do I really want to do this? Do I?
Yeah.
But I got to remind myself of why I'm trying to do this and, and kind of stick with that because it's like, this is going to suck, but it's going to be nice. It's going to be something new. And, so like my confidence right now is really high up. And so it feels good.
Good.
But
yeah, I've been feeling the same way.
Yeah.
I put myself out there a lot at work.
Yeah.
I vocalized a lot more.
Yeah.
And I'm a part of a lot of things that are going on right now. Just like I'm not leading things or anything, but just
being involved
and trying to actively be a part of that process of what things are going to become. And yeah, there is, when you put yourself out there, because I've been, obviously I speak my mind on things. You've heard me annoyingly speak my mind on things. But generally, if I'm not comfortable with the people I'm with, I'm fairly quiet.
Yeah, and I'm still that way.
Because I don't usually like conflict or confrontation with people. But I'm getting to a point where I've spoken up on things enough in uncomfortable settings and had feedback given to me of like, thank you for saying that, or like that really needed to be said, where my fear of sounding dumb or off or whatever has kind of started to be replaced by a feeling of like, no, the things that I'm thinking or worried about or think need to be said, it's resonating with somebody. It's I'm not the only one sitting here thinking this. And,
So I had like an interview, a while back, and one of the questions was something along those lines. And it's like, I forget what the question was, but my answer was basically like, I like to ask questions. If I don't know something, I'll ask questions. I'm not afraid to ask like a question. If I feel stupid, whatever. Because, and this is something I've told the kids multiple times, is ask, don't be afraid to ask questions, because someone has that same thought
and doesn't have the courage.
But they're not going to ask, because as soon as you do ask, and that's what I told them, I was like, I'm going to ask questions because they're going to respond. Yeah. They're going to be like, oh, I was wondering that same thing. Well, but I was just afraid to speak up.
Strategically speaking, how much power is there in asking questions? What happens when you ask a question?
You just start a conversation, man.
Somebody else is kind of put on defense, right?
Yeah.
Because you're asking, now it's their responsibility to
respond.
And give an answer. Well, there's more weight in an answer than there is in a question. You can ask a question about anything.
Yeah.
But an answer's right or an answer's wrong. You know what I'm saying? So,
but getting to your point, like, you do feel like, oh, I'm going to sound stupid if I ask this question, or I'm going to feel stupid. And I still have that same thought, but I'm just like, man, fuck it, whatever. I'm just going to ask anyway.
Well, and how else do you build yourself? How do you improve yourself if you're not putting yourself out there to hear the feedback, to know, yeah, this resonates with people, or no, this doesn't resonate with people?
For sure.
And to get that feedback. Like, I've been very, humble. What's the word? I've been just like, taken aback at moments when I've been approached by people that I know and respect in the hallway after a meeting, where I'm like second guessing myself. Like, I don't know if I should have said that, or like, maybe I should just shut up. And then someone's like, wow, like, thank you so much for saying that. That had to be said.
Like, thanks. You put that target on your back, not mine.
Well, but it's I also have a relationship with our leadership, and can also recognize the position that they're in a lot of things, where it's like, typically speaking, in any organization or scenario, you've got a lot going on where there's not everybody has full control over whatever's happening.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of feelings around those things. And if you can see where everybody's kind of at in reality,
because sometimes your boss is asking you questions because their boss is asking them questions.
Sure.
So they, there's that trickle down.
And everybody in any group is trying their best to do what they think is best.
Yeah.
And, I don't know where I'm going with this, but
no, I get what you're saying,
basically speaking,
ask fucking
questions. I feel good right now.
Yeah.
I feel better about, and we've talked before, I'm a person, and I think you probably are too, where professionally speaking, a lot of how you feel about yourself can really be impacted by how you feel you're performing at work. I feel like, I'm starting to be more of a leader, and I'm taking this and that, my I guess like positive ego starts to build, where I'm like, no, I believe in myself. I believe that my voice is valid, and that I have a purpose here.
And what helps too is when your leader or your like supervisor kind of recognizes that, and kind of that kind of helps build that too. You know what I mean? Instead of them like,
when you feel that you have the respect of, and not like, just, I guess respect is the best word, of the people that are your boss. When you feel like they value what you have to say, they value the work that you put in, they value your presence there.
Yep.
There's something, really that feels good when you feel like they want you there, and they see you as somebody that they need there. Not that they couldn't get by if you were gone. You know, they would fill your job. They would move on.
In a heartbeat.
But when you feel like you're making a difference where you are.
Yeah.
And your presence there is impacting in a positive way the people around you.
Yeah, for sure.
The Ted Lasso, man. I mean, it's like, you know, you look at you got that believe poster you slap up on the wall, and everyone just starts believing.
Well, no, that's true, because like I'm not the I've talked to Sandra, Alicia's sister, about this one time. It's like I'm not the smartest like tech person, like when it comes to like people. You have this jargon, and are they very technical in the way they speak about certain issues or stuff like that. I'm a people person. I'm very good at that. Like my level of like, you know, my level to their level of people is I'm here and they're here in my head, right? But when it comes to like the technical side of certain things, you know, yeah, they're better at that. So but for me, I'm always building my team up, like letting them know that I always remind them how appreciative I am of them, how they make my job kind of easy, you know. But there's things we need to get done. We got to get this, and you know, it doesn't happen right away. It's a slow process, especially once people. Oh, okay. He won't shut the fuck up about it. He keeps asking. He's really persistent on this. And so it's just a snowball. It'll happen. It might not happen right away, but it's going to slowly build when you build them. But if you're like always just like being a dick or something.
Well, and it's an approach too. I mean, so we've watched some videos. There's this piece of, I'm not going to get into the details because no one's going to care, but they gave examples. Because it's kind of like a leadership group, so it's a lot of principals and different people that are watching these things too. And they show a model of basically this educator that is not on board and isn't doing what they're asked to do. And so they have the guy acting as a principal and this guy acting as a teacher. Mm-hmm. This guy is like, yeah, I just disagree with this. I think that this is better and blah, blah, blah. And you kind of watch the modeling of how you address that. And he was respectful, but his approach is pretty much, well, we all agreed to this and you agreed to this. And this is the reason why. And so if you're unhappy with this, then you have the right to go look other places. We don't want to lose you. But if you're not going to agree with what we've all agreed to, then it might be something that you need to look into. But the way that he presented it was really like, you're making a choice.
Yeah, exactly.
We agreed, you agreed, and it's not personal. I like you a lot, but if this is not this is not your happy place, then you need to go find your happy place.
Yeah, exactly.
And there is a real maturing of people in roles like that, I think, where you get that confidence to recognize how to not let things become personal. Because a lot of the bad bosses are the ones where things are very personal and the reaction to you is very personal, and the energy, like you're slapping microphones around and stuff.
No, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? There's a confidence and a calmness of good leadership. Why are we always talking about this stuff? I don't know. It's fascinating, but
no, it's true though. Cause like, you know, if they take it personal, cause I think there was a time there where I took feedback personal, I guess.
It can be hard not to. Yeah.
Because, you know, maybe my expectations were, I thought, you know, I think I'm doing a certain type of thing. And then, you know, in reality, I guess, you know, maybe I'm not or whatever. Or the feedback, but the way the feedback came at me felt more like I'm being attacked. You know what I mean? Than being like,
right. Was it constructive or was it destructive?
I felt more destructive. You know what I mean? Because there is a different way to, you know, you can give someone like, okay, you've been doing an awesome job, but you know, these things I think you need to really kind of work on.
Sure.
You know, instead of like, you're not at the level of these guys. We need you there. You're not doing a great job. And it's like, well, what am I doing? Like, and that's where it's like, you know, people manage differently.
You just hit the nail on the head though.
Yeah.
So in education, that's the world I know.
Yeah.
You know, if a student doesn't get a skill, it's not their fault.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's my job to find out why they didn't get it and to fill that gap and to give them clear guidance on, this is what I want to see. Mm-hmm. This is where you are. And these are the steps to get there. Right. Yeah. Bosses, it's no different. I think a lot of educators should be in the business world because it's no different.
It's the same.
A good leader looks at where his or her people are, looks at where they want them to be, and gives them the roadmap on how to get there
Yeah.
and guides them and is a friend in that work. On the flip side, if you have somebody who's not interested in that help, that's where the other conversation comes in of this does not seem to be where you are happy or where you
maybe you
want
should move
to
on.
be. This may not be the best fit. But until you've made it clear, you can't blindside somebody at the end and go, oh, you didn't do what I wanted you to. Well, did you tell me what you wanted me to do?
Dude, for real.
Was it clear what I was supposed to do? You can't blindside somebody at the end and go, oh, I watched for months while you were at A and I wanted you at B. So no, it's not working out. Your job in any kind of leadership role, in any kind of position where other people's performance is dependent on your clear instruction, you have to take that to account. If your department fails, it's your fault that your department fails.
Yeah.
And that's a big job, but that's why people go into leadership.
Yeah.
That's why you take that role, because
you're like a coach, man.
You are like a coach, but you have to be very precise.
Yeah.
And that's not an easy thing to do. It's not easy to do.
I agree. It is not.
But it is your role and your responsibility. A bad boss is going to erode confidence. They're going to erode a sense of belonging. And it's all because they sow doubt in people instead of build skill.
Yeah, and that's for me. That's kind of where, like I said, I gave myself that years because of basically that. For me, anyways, I it's not that I took things personally. It's just I knew where I was, a few years ago to where I was just this last year, and the growth I've made, that I've seen, that I can tell that I've done. Like no one can tell me any different that I hadn't improved and did so much better than I've ever done, and then to get told that I've actually done worse than I've ever done, to me was like a fucking slap in the face.
How specific were the examples?
None. They were shitty.
So this is
that's the part that's stupid.
That's the point.
That was like I said, it was they're here, you're here. Like you need to be here.
Okay.
Like you're not there.
Let's put you on the defense then, guy telling me this. What do you need me to do? You tell me I want to be better than them. So you tell me what I need to do to be better than them, and that's what's going to happen.
Well,
and can he tell you? If you asked him that question, could he tell you the steps to take?
Probably not, because teams you manage, like in my world, it's you. The way you manage is it's different. No one manages exactly the same way, right?
But what metrics is he looking for?
That's you. Yeah, his metrics. He's looking at metrics that he has only for these people, because that's what they
do.
Work. That's their flow of work. For me, that's not my workflow. That's not my team's workflow. We don't do it that way. That's why you can't compare apples to oranges.
The structure of the job itself.
Yeah.
Right. The type of work that you're doing.
Look, I'm in customer service satisfaction. I'm in that world. I'm not in applications and shit. We don't move in that same, we don't move like that. We move this way, but whatever. Kind of switching gears. Getting kind of back to like step parenting and stuff. Okay. So kind of going back to, you were talking about Little Evil and how he was trying to build that relationship. Which ties kind of into the question of the week.
I was going to say, it was hard not to just roll right into the question of the week back then, but I'm glad that we didn't.
Yeah.
Because it
really was. Because
the question of the week towards the end.
Yeah. Because it was kind of like tying in that.
It very much is. Yeah.
So it's like.
So the question of the week, we were talking about the idea of, are there specific tips for parents or people who are getting into the step parent role? Maybe you're dating somebody seriously and they have kids, or you're engaged to somebody and they have kids, or you're just married and this person that you're now with has kids. What, do we think are important things to know?
And to build that relationship with.
Right. Because if you're going to be with a person, you're going to be with their kids. Like, you have to go into it wanting a family relationship with everybody involved.
Yeah.
You're not going to make it if you don't.
No.
The spouse is always going to choose their kid.
Of course, and they should.
And they should choose their kid. You can't put yourself above a child.
Yeah. So yesterday we were like I had mentioned earlier, like Sadia's birthday. And it was awesome because it was like, me and Alicia and, obviously JJ and all the kids. And then it was my stepkids, their dad with their stepmom and all their brothers and sisters on that side. Leo was there, And then it was actually Sadia's like fiance's dad and everybody was there. So, it was a lot of just family.
Yeah.
And a lot of blended family, right? And Leo, people were drinking. I was sober, so it's always interesting in that aspect. Especially once people start kind of loosening up. So Leo was like, man, he was out there talking to me, the kid's his dad. And he was just like, he was like, being a step-parent is hard. And I was like, yeah. He's like, because it's like, he brought up the respect thing. Like when his stepkids were younger, like he didn't know how to like basically, how do you, he goes, he only knows how to be the discipline he grew up with in a sense. And so that's kind of how he was. And I was like, yeah, I get it. Cause there's going to be that time where you guys kind of bump heads with your stepkids. Right. And I'm with that. And cause he goes, yeah, I know, Cheeky says you and her bump heads. Like, yeah, we bump heads. Like I go, but it's, it's also a respect thing. I go, but with her, I don't do anything that I wouldn't do with any of my other kids. Right. If any of my other kids maybe acted the same way, because all your kids have different personalities.
Absolutely, yeah.
My response wouldn't change because she's not my kid.
Right.
And I think that's something you have to go into knowing is like treat your stepkids as if they are going to be your kids. I know you don't have that blood there, and there's not that like relationship yet. Over time, that's something you got to really realize it's going to take time to build.
Yeah, that relationship has to be there too.
Yeah, it took me, me and Alicia have been together 12 years or something like that. And it's taking, it took, well, I'm going to say like 7 years for me to build a really good relationship with like Sadia, Ziana, it's like, with her and stuff since she was so young, it wasn't as hard.
Yeah, because I think it is definitely easier with young kids.
Yeah, because they don't know yet, right?
Yeah, right.
They might sense things. Kids are smart, but
younger kids, they don't have a sense of a normalcy the same as an older kid.
Yeah, so for me, it was like I had 2 older kids, and so like getting that bonding was really tough. It's a really hard thing to get, but it's like if you are a good person and you just got to remind yourself to like, you got to know that this isn't going to happen tomorrow. But something I had told Alicia is like, I'm not going to change who I am. I go, eventually the kids will see that I'm still me.
Because you have to think about where the kids are coming from.
Yeah.
So the kids have faith in a system, a mom and a dad.
Yep.
They split up. Now, what does that do to a kid's mind?
Yeah, that fucks them up.
I'm not going to put myself out there to get hurt again because that really sucked. So now there's this new person here who says that they care and that they're going to be here, but I believe that they were going to be here and now they're not. So you're fighting their learned pattern of behavior that you trust, everything's normal, and it gets ripped apart. And so they're not going to be typically vulnerable to that. But as you're there consistently, there is a point where they give in because now the data points show this person's not going anywhere. I can let go a little bit.
Yeah, and on top of that, you gotta know, don't go in there thinking you're gonna be their dad.
No.
Or their mom.
No.
Like you gotta go in there.
You're not gonna go in and discipline the same way on day one that you eventually would.
Like something I had told Alicia is I said, basically I'm here for you. But I am also here for the kids, but I don't want you thinking I'm here to take over as their dad.
Right.
And this is what I told Leo last night. I go, I never went in here thinking that I'm going to be their dad. I go, I'm going to be here. I'm going to take care of your kids. I go, but I'm not, you're there for them. Cause I think in talking to him, he had some guilt for things that's happened in the past and such like that. He was kind of
between you and him,
not just even just for him as a dad himself. There was guilt there and why the split up and all that stuff. Guilt you're always going to have a guilty feeling of maybe you should have done this in the relationship, done that to make things work, right? And so he, I think he has that a little bit. And I was like, no, man, I mean, you can't change things. Like you can just change things now. You can't change what happened then. You can just move forward and, fix those things. But like I said, I told him, it's like, I didn't go in here thinking that I'm going to take over as dad.
Right.
I go, for me, it was just, I'm going to take care of them. I'm taking care of Alicia was my number one priority to make sure she's happy and taken care of. And in doing so, that's me taking care of the kids. I go, because I told him, I was like, you were there. He goes, I know, but I wasn't always. I was like, I know, but I go, you were involved with the kids. Like you were, you know, so
He never just disappeared.
he was never like absent father. Like you get guys where they're like, it's been 4 years, Dad, I haven't seen you. You know,
right.
there's that.
Right.
And he was never that way. He was never that way. So, and then he, like in talking to him, he was just like, yeah, he goes, you know, it took me a while to kind of come around to you. He goes, but yeah, man, he goes like, how do you and Tom do it? He's like, because you seem like, I go, oh, Tom's just chill, man. He's cool.
Well,
like,
I think, yeah, we're lucky in our personalities that we don't have that contention. But like we've talked before, I think we both have a respect.
yeah, and that's kind of what I said that, and I was just like, and then he's like, how was the, like, you know, you and, you know, Blanca's thing? I go, well, our split up was a little more mutual than your guys's. I was like,
Which makes it easier.
I go, so it was easier. I go,
Yeah.
and we've always just been really good friends, and we're still really good friends. It's just we just didn't have that romantic side of things. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't that.
Right.
And then he was just like, and it was, you know, like I said, people drink. He was just like, yeah, people at work were like, oh man, you know, that's your, you know, you should be this and that because he's, you know, your kid's, you know, stepdad, blah, 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 talking shit. But he's like, no, man, he's like legit. Like he doesn't, I got to be thankful he doesn't hit my kid's mom. He's not like an asshole to anybody. Like obviously you're going to have your bump head moment and stuff. And then he even was like, you know, I used to talk shit about you to the kids. I would say these things and like, you know, like, I'm sorry, like, you know, basically like,
Because you proved through your actions over time.
yeah,
You proved yourself.
and that's kind of the point is like over time, if you're a good person, the kids will see that, even maybe the baby daddy, baby mama, they'll see those things. And sometimes it's really hard when the parents and the co-parents are bumping heads because dad, you know, stepdad don't like stepdad or stepmom don't like this mom, you know, like there's that beef and they're using the kids as weapons. And that's something you got to really, really not do. Don't involve the kids because it's not their problem. You guys need to work together to
Agreed.
fucking like make sure they're taken care of because they're in a situation where this is like Tom was saying, like their life's changed. Now there's this other guy or girl in their life and they're like, what is going on? Like,
Right.
I want my family back. I want my
Right.
dad. I want my mom. Like, you're not them. I've never had that said where like, you're not my dad. Don't tell me what to do. Like, I've never had that situation, but I know there's been those thoughts, you know?
Right.
And you can't let that feeling of when those things come up, like, affect you because you got to really, like, going back to those expectations, you got to really know that that's going to happen. They're not going to like you at times, but if
And you're going to have feelings because you're
you're
human.
you're
And
gonna.
that's why this is a
I
topic.
can't say I've been like
but
zenned out moments, but there's times where the anger or the hurt or whatever it is I feel will build up inside me, and it's like I got to know to like sometimes bite my tongue because it's not going to help anything.
find a positive outlet somewhere else to get that out.
Go punch the wall.
Yeah, right. Beat up the car. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, there
Go
are
kick a rock or something.
positive ways to go
Yeah.
and address that and get those feelings out because you're human. I mean, that's the truth. Is why is this even an issue? Because people tend to not react well
Yeah.
to these feelings. And I was very lucky. Elena was young.
Yeah.
It was
It's
very
easier
easy
when
to
they're
win
younger.
Elena over, and she doesn't know any different now.
Yeah.
And a step parent role, you know, especially in this case, because I've had relatives where the stepdad basically was the dad. The dad really wasn't in the picture at all.
Yeah.
And that's a different role because then you are more of the dad. But in like our role, I'm not the dad, but I am the stepdad. So my viewpoint has always been, I don't expect to be Elena's dad, but she is my kid.
Exactly.
You
That's
know,
how-
it's
that's how it
like
is for
that's
me.
kind of the way that I've gone into it is like if this child's in my house, they're my child.
Yep.
Doesn't mean that they have to view me the same way. Being a stepdad, It's not the same as being a biological dad, but it is its own unique thing. It's its own relationship. Elena's come to me to talk about things, or she's in my house. Like, I can instill some of my values into her, and like, there's just, there is a family bond there, whether they're blood or not blood. So it's a very special relationship. I mean, thank God we've had a very easy time. We're definitely not the norm.
No,
because there was,
but we need to be.
But it should be more that way. Unfortunately, a lot of marriages end bitterly, and people don't always end their love at the same moment.
Yeah.
And if you're carrying love and hurt and pain into it, I get it would be a lot harder. We may not be doing a podcast to be friends if you were still in love with Blanca and I was nervous that maybe she still loved you, and and that maybe you're not really my friend. Maybe you're going to take her back. I mean, we've never had that experience. I've never ever felt threatened in any way.
And for me, there was that feeling, right? And it was either like when I first got with Alicia, there was those feelings because I know her history with her and Leo that they've broken up, got back together a few times, and like, so for me there was that feeling like maybe he's gonna change, and she's gonna see that, and she's gonna want to be back with that because
she really wants to.
She wants that family dynamic, right? And I am who I am, but at the same time I couldn't fault her for that, right? And so there was a time there where there was this like fear for me, and just like for him, like I was also fearful that I know there was probably feelings for him towards her where it was just like, like great. And then if things change or like something positive, you want the best out of people. But when you're with this person
but
you
when it's
love,
threatening
and you're
to
like,
you,
I don't know if I want you to be good. I think I want you to be still not a good person.
Right. Yeah,
it doesn't benefit
your own
me.
Self-interest. It's very difficult for a human to want something counter to their own personal self-interest. So
sometimes it's being a stepdad and growing up. Like I think thankfully for me, one thing is I seen how my mom was as a stepmom with my like stepsister and stuff when I was younger. And my mom, like I said, I think I said before, my stepsister wanted to come here with us, but she, obviously legal reasons she couldn't. So seeing that kind of like helped me.
You at least had a model to kind of work.
Yeah, and I might not have known that then, but like being a step parent now and seeing that, like, I can see that like she didn't treat them any different than she treated us. You know what I mean? So we're going to get the belt. They're going to get the belt. It's, the same shit. Like the discipline was the same. It wasn't like, well, okay, you can go.
Well, and on that note, I think the whole other side of it is the communication between the biological parent and now the step parent. There's going to be a lot of emotions there. Like you can't necessarily come in playing dad or mom to those kids if the spouse has a different expectation. Now, Blanca was always great with me. She mama bears to some point, but the same as she does to me with our own biological son, that I do share with her, right?
Alicia does that with me.
It's the same thing where if I come down and she feels like it's too hard on Elliot, she kind of undermines me and makes me feel like crap. But like,
I think that's a mom
but
thing.
It's the same. But I never felt like I could not discipline Elena or that I wasn't allowed to be some sort of a dad to her. That's what Blanca wanted. So that piece was always there. And, we weren't always the best at communicating with each other. We probably still aren't the best at always communicating perfectly.
That's normal.
But I would prepare you to, if you're getting to that serious level where the kids are going to be a part of your life, I think the two parents in that household need to sit down together and have some very, very detailed discussions about where they're at, and that there's a lot more than just living together, being in love, and it's all going to work itself out. Yeah. Are your parenting styles the same? Because this person is not as bound to you as they are to their kid. Probably.
Yeah, no, and parenting styles are different.
And parenting styles
I think me and Blanca are different in the way we parent.
But I think a biological dad probably can get away a little more with their own style, with their own biological kid, than a step parent being really hard-headed and firm.
And thankfully, I haven't had to like discipline Elena. I'm not like You know,
Elena's a pretty good kid.
she's a good kid. Like there's times where you got like, hey, I need you to like kind of step it up.
But I mean, there are times where we've had to restrict the computer or set really
normal stuff,
firm standards, and say, hey, this is not okay.
But
we
I
need
think
to do better.
If
here
you're gonna
there,
discipline your, say you guys are sharing a kid, we can probably end here. But like, sometimes you got to. So if you're disciplining your kid, like, hey, she's been acting up, she's we grounded her for this, and this. You know, you got to leave that. You got to talk to your co-parent about like, hey, I don't know if you guys want to still continue with this while she's over here at your house,
right?
Or not, because then they can be like, well, I'm going to go to my mom's right now because I'm going to get away with it.
Yep.
But if you like have that open line of communication where you're like, okay, we've grounded her off of these things because she's kind of been slacking in school. You know, I would like, can you do the same, or
Yeah, that's a model that we have. Is we tend to relate that to the other household, and we as a four tend to, I think, work together well.
I think so. And then if I'm being a shit dad, I already know if I was being a shit dad, I would probably hear from Blanca.
She's pretty opinionated about things.
And I would want to know. I would want to know if I'm not doing a good job. And Alicia will tell me if I'm kind of like, hey, why are you being kind of hard on them or this? You know, she's told me stuff like that when I was like starting out. Like I don't know. I don't know how being this way. Leave me alone.
Well, because when you're younger, you're not always making the best choices. You don't always know what's right or what's wrong.
Yeah,
there's
as
a lot
a parent,
of
you're learning. You're learning as you go.
In your first experience, and if you like, I was not a dad coming into being a stepdad, so Elena was my first kid, but
I was
I think I was fairly ready for a kid. Like I don't, But
I told Adrian is like, you're gonna I know you don't know how to be a dad yet, but it'll just come to you.
If you are a caring person at all, there is a nature that kicks in. That kid comes out, you love him, and
I don't think anybody's ever ready to be a parent. You think you are until you're not. But
and there's a learning curve.
There's a natural,
when it starts, but there is a natural undertone of like, oh, I love this thing and I want it to be okay, and that guides everything.
It does.
You might not be the best all the time, every time, but for the most part, the kid's not really going to know that. Or if they do have I was such a little shit. I'd be like, you guys, you did this and you did that. And that, I wouldn't do that. And then you have kids and you're like, yep, I did that. Because you're a human being, still living as a human being. Sometimes you don't have the energy for everything that you thought in a perfect world that you would. Anyway, just do your best. Be a decent person.
That's it.
I do want to do one shout out before we end. Tomorrow's Veterans Day.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. I got to work. That's so stupid.
That's really stupid.
Yeah, my work don't go.
It's a big deal, really. Actually. Like when you look at the history of Veterans Day, it's not just Veterans Day; it's Armistice Day. It started as Armistice Day.
This is what pisses me off. I'd rather have Veterans Day off than President's Day.
Yeah, right. I would rather celebrate the people that fought and died for this country than people that were in the White House. Not that that's not an important position, but
that's like having a boss's day off.
The people who literally died for this country versus the people that sent them to die for this country.
I know.
I would rather. Yeah. Do you get President's Day?
Yeah, we get that's a stupid day off. Like I don't care for that.
Well, I mean, it's no day off is a stupid day off. I'll take any day off.
To me. It's a slap in the face to veterans, like especially at my work.
We're gonna honor the guy that got them killed. Versus...
So I have I don't have a tech in that role anymore, but I had a technician last year. He was a veteran. He fought for this country for 20 plus years, and like for him not to
get that day
off, I felt like that was kind of.
He would have to take his personal leave
to
have that day off.
And I think I gave him that day off. And I didn't charge him PTO.
Nice.
I was like, no, man, you can take that day off. I'll fake it.
Well, when you put your life on the line for the country, there is a debt owed. And some people don't respect that. But
I don't know. I've thought about getting back to speaking up. I've thought about like reaching out and seeing why don't we?
Why is President's Day a day off and not Veterans Day?
Yeah.
What message is that projecting?
And then watch me go to work tomorrow and they'll be like, we don't have work.
Or we don't get President's Day off. What do you mean?
No, nothing.
Never mind. A great movie to watch. Not with your children, but on your own. If you want to put yourself in the mindset of why we have Veterans Day, watch the new version of All's Quiet on the Western Front on Netflix because it's pretty horrific of what war is really like. And at the end of it, you watch the Armistice Day actually happen, which is 11/11, November 11th, which is why we have Veterans Day. Originally, Armistice Day turned into Veterans Day over time. It was such a horrific war that they enshrined that date of the end of World War I in a day to be remembered because we should be working to avoid war. We should be reducing the amount of veterans that we have. We should be preventing
war makes
the
money.
pain.
That's the sad part.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway, that's
we'll
something.
see what
That's
happens.
another
But
podcast.
the point is, tomorrow's Veterans Day. Thank you, vets.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And,
Appreciate you.
Yeah, if you want a great movie that puts you in the spirit for why the day matters, that's a great movie.
I'll have to
I
check it
started watching it last night again. Every time I watch it, I'm like, damn. It's in German. It's a German film.
Oh, okay.
So it feels very authentic.
Nice.
But yeah, anyway, thank you, veterans. Thank you,
you.
everybody, for listening. And if you're a step parent, keep up the good fight.
Keep it up.
Work with those people around you.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. Have a great week. See you guys next time.
Bye.